Hello there, welcome back to Legends with Derka on this Series X. Today's video features one of the newest ships to enter the game this week with the most recent update in the form of a collaboration with Warhammer 40k. Don't know what that is? I didn't either. Apparently it is a tabletop strategy game that seems to be British in origin. It might not mean a lot to you, but some of the ships and commanders that come to Legends with the collab are pretty cool. Enter the Smasha. It is based on a Jervis at tier 6, but with quite a few key differences that we can talk about today. Is the Smasha and the Orc commander worth picking up? Let's find out. So the Ship Smasha comes in at tier 6, and like mentioned, it's a British destroyer based on the tech tree Jervis. I don't know that I've voiced my opinion much of Jervis on this channel, maybe in a video or two, but it was really one of my favorite destroyers at tier 6. There were so many good tier 6 destroyers, but the Jervis was a lot of fun. It was incredible, it wasn't a grind at all to get through, so my interest was piqued with Smasha. Before we go any farther though, let's take a look at the commander. He is also a unique to Warhammer 40k commander. Homie's name is Grotmaz, and his base perk, his base trait, increases ramming damage and reduces damage taken while ramming. So yeah, you can decide how useful that is for you. Who knows, maybe you're making a new battleship ram build. And no, I will not be testing that out on meme or meta, don't ask. Now, the Orc guy does have a pretty cool perk called Bernie Daka. It increases your fire chance and HE shell damage at the cost of taking a little more damage overall. It's a pretty decent perk, and if you're doing some spamming from smoke or cover, it can increase your damage output by a decent amount, really, especially with that fire chance. Now, otherwise, Grotmaz is completely identical to Philip Vian, whose base trait is actually one of the more useful, better ones in the game, and that is to increase incoming fire dispersion, especially as a destroyer. So in terms of comparing Grotmaz as a destroyer commander, I don't think he's that great. I definitely would not spend money for him. My opinion, of course. The inspirations that I used for this setup were Sims and Bay, but again, you could go a lot of different ways with this. Let's look at some of the stats of the ship together. As always, we're just going to compare it straight across to all of the other tier 6s in the game and see how it stacks up. Base survivability would be 14,000. That's why I use Billy Sims, because with this destroyer you're going to be getting in close and using your guns a lot. It would help to have the little extra health points. With Sims, he's a level 16. It brings it up about 2,500 points, so 16,500. Because if you're going to be dumb, you gotta be tough. And usually I play pretty aggressively. So, like the other British destroyers, it's not a great HP pool. It's definitely not the selling point of the ship, but while we are talking about the survivability of this ship, it comes with 2 heals. The heals are good for about 2,300 health points apiece. So if you added that in 4,600 health, you know, it makes you pretty darn competitive. With Sims, it would pretty much put you at the best in-class health points at the tier. Z39 and maybe some of the other destroyers would give you a run for your money. But yes, the heals help a lot. If you put Tenant on there for some sort of a weird meme Boss Dewey style build, you could get a 3rd heal. Let me know how that works for you. On to the guns. Another great selling point about this ship. They have a 4-second reload, which is quite nice. It's very quick, especially for British HE. That is also quite nice, because the shell damage is good and the fire chance is good. Shell damage, 1,800. This is middle of the pack to, you know, on the better side, and the fire chance at 9% is very good. For comparison, Benson has a fire chance of about 5%. If you're using Grotmaz's special perk, you can get the fire chance up to 10%, and it sets fires quite reliably. Almost the best at the tier. Now here's the catch. Your base gun range is 8.4 kilometers, which is really, really terrible. It could be the worst main battery range currently in the game. You guys get back to me on that. So that's why you might consider using Sidestep in slot 4 and not even using Grotmaz's special perk on this boat. Now, in this game, I did have Grotmaz's special perk, and you saw that we got quite a few fires lit on those battleships, and it definitely worked out in this game. By the way, we haven't talked about this game, but it's going to be an absolute carry clutch and is definitely worth sticking around for. We win it with a few seconds left. Yeah, very, very cool game. Anyways, all of that said, it could be worth not using Grotmaz at all on this boat. If you put Vian on there, my Vian's a 16, I got the gun range up to 9.1, and of course the base trait is way better, like we mentioned. Torpedoes. Reload is 100 seconds. It's kind of on the high side, but their alpha damage is quite nice for the Teir at around 16,000. Their detectability is just okay, as is their speed, about 65 knots in the water, maybe a little bit above average. Now, what is not average and is actually pretty bad is the torp range. 6 kilometers. It means you're going to have to be pretty aggressive. Now, you could use Gleaves to boost it up a little bit, or if Teirwit is a high level for you, you could put on Torpedo Safari and lose Sidestep for the gun range. Either way, you're probably going to have to sacrifice something because the gun range is short and the torpedo range is short. You do have the option, like we showed earlier in this game, to single fire the torps like British destroyers can do, and it's a very nice feature. You also might have noticed earlier when I was firing torpedoes that the torp angles are terrible, so keep that in mind. You pretty much have to be perpendicular to your target to get the torpedoes off. Moving on down the line here, anti-aircraft defense is not great. You probably couldn't have shot down the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk, so there's really nothing to see there. Speed, 38 knots, pretty average. It's not bad at all. Turning circle is above average, 560 meters, and the rudder shift is good at 3 seconds. So it's a fun boat to drive, pretty maneuverable. You can move around the map well, avoid torpedoes, brawl. It was fun to drive. Now, on to maybe the most important stat for destroyers, and that is concealment. At 5.5 kilometers with this setup, that's using a level 16 bay, it's pretty much tied with every other tier 6 destroyer except some of the Russian ones and the French ones. You are probably going to want to use bay because, like we mentioned, your base gun range and torpedo range is so bad. So having the little extra concealment is going to be important. The ship's definitely going to require you to get in close to deal any damage at all. So it's based on the Jervis. How else is it different? Well, in my opinion, you lose the 2 best things about Jervis. One of them is British smokescreens. Normally you would get 6 short duration smokescreens. They don't last very long, maybe about 30 seconds if I remember right, but they reload quickly and you get a ton of them. On Smasha here, you get 2 normal American smokescreens. At least they are American ones. They have a long duration of about 2 minutes, and that gives you lots of time to park, farm, set fires, kind of like we demonstrated at the beginning of this match. It puts you in a good position for a long time, you know, so that you can deal some damage. Now, I have to say, I would much rather have the British smoke, though. In my opinion, it makes you a much better destroyer, especially against aircraft carriers. You could, you know, stay hidden from aircraft carriers for a very long time. If they send a plane back your way, simply smoke up. And I think it lets you be a little more aggressive. Basically, you get 6 get out of jail free cards, so I really love the British smokes. But again, at least these are American duration smoke screens and allows you to be hidden for a long time. Now, the other thing that the Jervis has that Smasha doesn't have is sonar. British destroyers usually get a long duration sonar that is also one of their best features. It lasts for a couple minutes, it's good for 3.5 kilometers, and it makes you pretty versatile. You can dodge torpedoes, push other destroyers in their smokescreen, but again, with Ship Smasha here, you do not get that. those are some of the glaring things that make her pretty hard to play. Short gun range, short torpedo range, not getting the British smokes, not getting the British sonar. But again, there's the really strong features like one of the best in class fire chances, the heals that give you a really good survivability. So yes, we kind of, we take the good with the bad with this ship. The camo's pretty cool. I think long ago I finally just got over the fact that some of this stuff is not historically significant anymore, which is why I got into World of Warships in the first place. I love naval history, warfare, World War II, World War I era. I love it. And it bugged me for a long time when like the Azur Lane stuff and the Halloween Commanders. But now I just see it for what it is. It's, you know, if you don't like the camos, take it off. Yeah, but I think this one's actually pretty neat. On that note, the pointy thing at the end has no armor value. So you don't get like a, who knows what you would call that, like a 500mm icebreaker. Yeah, but anyways. Okay, we're going to speed up the next little bit here because it's the part of World of Warships that I call the sailing simulator. Basically, we came over here to get sea in the hopes that whatever happened, I would be able to win this game by myself on points. Our battleship over there is... Okay, yep, he's dead. I was about to say, he's probably not going to make it very much longer. So, they took the points lead. Their Russian battleship, the Ismail's playing very smart. He's going to get this cap. There's really nothing that I can do to stop him from doing that. The Leander either quit or disconnected. I didn't realize that here at the time. All I was focused on was this New Orleans. He's low enough health that even if I don't get this cap and I wait and I get him killed right at the end, the point swing would put me over the edge and I would win. So, hoping he's going to sail in a straight line to stop me from getting this cap, we went ahead and put our 10 torpedoes right there. And as a little added distraction and security, I didn't know if any of the torpedoes would hit. Maybe he had sonar running. We do go ahead and open up with the guns here. I'm actually pretty confident that I can gun this guy down. These HE shells hit nice, but we didn't have to. He runs right into it, and it puts me over the top on the point 604 to 591. However, with their 2 caps, they could win it, so I'm desperately trying to get back in the cap circle as quickly as I can. As soon as I'm on this cap, they'll only be accruing points for 1 cap. So, with seconds to spare, we make it back on the cap, and then I realize, well, this guy's not playing. Maybe we can get a little bit more damage. But GG's to red team and blue team. This was a pretty fun one, and I think this ship is definitely pretty fun to play. I think the commanders may be useless, but again, maybe I'm missing something and you guys can let me know how I'm wrong and how you're going to use it to be the most epic World of Warships player ever. All right, leave some comments down below of what you guys think. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!